Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the webinar for nutrition for aspiring athletes, being run by Quant Nutrition in collaboration with Trinity Sports Academy. Move to the next slide.
Next slide, please.
I'm gonna give you a slight overview about Quant Nutrition Company. Quant Nutrition is one of the pioneer nutrition companies with branches in India as well as the Middle East. As a company, it has made nutritional counseling and specialization that is customized to each individual's own diet and needs. It employs some of the most talented and best nutritionists in the country who handle clientele from all walks of life across India and around the globe. The Kwa Nutrition have diet plans, advice for everyone, including infants, toddlers, children, adolescents, adults, and obviously sports persons. The specialized diet plans are modified at regular intervals according to the client's feedback, making the client more involved and interested. Quad Nutrition believes in imparting clients with the knowledge of nutrition, knowing why and what are doing a nutrition plan designed for them. So if you want to know more about Quad Nutrition, you can visit their website at quadnutrition.com. They've got Facebook pages. They are also on YouTube as well as I think LinkedIn as well. My name is Ryan. I'm the director for Trinity Sports Academy. So I'm going to talk about Trinity Sports Academy as well. Trinity Sports Academy is an organization with the core mission of providing quality sports programs in communities and schools in and around Hyderabad. Since our inception as an academy, we have partnered with the Trinity Football Club, the VVS Lakshmi Cricket Academy, the South Mumbai Chess Academy, the Japan Karate Association of India, and Trinity International School. Our mission as an academy is to nurture the pattern of striving for excellence in all student athletes. Here at Trinity Sports Academy, we do believe that nutritional status is a vital determinant of athletic performance, which is why we partnered with Quad Nutrition to come together and bring to you this webinar, trying to educate, bring awareness of the importance of nutrition. We believe sports nutrition enhances performance by improving body composition, which increases mobility, speed, strength, and quickness. It helps to speed up recovery, which will create more capacity for participating and competition. For us to believe that a strategic diet will increase immunity, allowing one to stay healthy and be able to continue and intensify practice and training. Now, our panelists for today, we've got a very rich group of people that are going to be presenting this to us. We have Ms. Suhasini Vasanathan. She's a qualified dietitian, a certified diabetes educator, a certified pediatrician nutritionist, and a certified vegan and vegetarian specialist. Mr. Sini has helped CEOs get their health and fitness on track, worked with the people to correct their damaged blood parameters, helped budding athletes better their personal records, also work with special children like those on the autism spectrum. Currently, she's the head of quality control in diabetic management at Quad Nutrition Clinics. We welcome you, Mr. Asini, this morning.
Thank you so much.
Our next panelist as well, we have Ms. Manisha Gogia. She is a certified dietitian. She has completed a degree in nutrition and food technology from Osmania University College. She's got a master's in nutrition and dietetics from the same college. She handled clients with obesity-related complications like PCOS, diabetes, hypertension, hypothyroidism, weight gain factors, and sports, and many more. And also this morning, I'd like to welcome our Trinity Sports Academy athletics head coach, Ms. Uma Gupta, who also who was coordinating with Qua Nutrition to make this a very successful event. So thank you very much. We appreciate everybody. I hope everybody is going to have a wonderful day. I'm going to hand over to Ms. Suhasini for the rest of the program.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ryan. Thank you very much. Good morning to everybody present. I hope all of you have had your breakfast and are ready to listen in and have a lot of information download on nutrition. I'm Suhasini, as introduced by Mr. Ryan, and along with me is Ms. Manisha, who is from my team in Hyderabad as well. And so without any further ado, can we get started, Ms. Uma? Ms. Ryan, could we get started?
Yes.
Sure, let's get started. Sure.
All right, great. Thank you. So the only thing before I get started that I want to tell is if you have any questions through your session, you can definitely put it down. However, say by the end of the entire session of me explaining it, I will then answer all the questions together at one time. Okay, so let me share my screen. Okay. All right. So I'm going to be talking today about nutrition for aspiring athletes and aspiring champions, as I would like to reframe them and call them. So these are a few of the champions that we are familiar with, and we have worked with them in fueling their nutrition. And if you recognize any of them, you can always put the names down in the chat box. But going forward, here's how we are going to help you get to where they are. So before we start, one thing I'd like to say is kindly don't take, get slowed down by writing down what I'm going to be explaining to you. I'd love for all of you to listen in. That will be wonderful. And if you have any questions or if you want to have a chat with somebody, you can always send your name and email ID to Manisha on the given number and we'll get back to you. Okay, so I want your full attention to just listen. Okay, so starting off, what do we need to be a champion, right? The most important thing that we're always doing is training. But what I would like each and every athlete, parent over here and coaches over here to understand is, while training is definitely important, rest is definitely important, nutrition also is equally important. And it is a combination of all three that makes and fuels a champion. Okay, so what do we need? We need about equal 30% of each of these coming in for us to make sure that we are able to focus on muscle enhancement. And more muscle enhancement means more strength, more stamina, and being able to perform for all the hours that each athlete puts in training. Okay, so while we are going to be understanding how nutrition is going to help, here's the biomechanics that I would like everybody to understand. So what happens when we are training or playing? The mechanisms in the body that go up are our heart rate, the respiratory rate, the cardiac output, and the blood pressure. So these are systems in our body that are at their peak when we are training. Okay, so your body has no time for digestion or going and taking a poop. Okay, so your body is not going to be ready to digest and excrete the food that you're eating. So this is very important for us to understand, to know exactly how we need to be following what we do. So have any of you heard of performance nutrition? What is performance nutrition? So while we see everybody right on top and getting those medals, what we don't see is the hours of training, the sacrifices, and how they very, very smartly fuel their nutrition. Okay. So what is this performance nutrition? So here's what I'm going to give you, and what I'm going to tell you are going to be top 5 secrets or top 5 golden rules that each of us should stick by. Okay. First, 5 times a day. Eating 5 times a day is extremely important. Sorry to interrupt, just a quick thing. Are you able to also see my video? Is that important or the presentation okay? Quickly. Should I switch on my video? Could one? Okay, I'm just going to switch on my video and should be there something you can let me know. Okay. All right. So first rule is eating 5 times a day. So why is eating 5 times a day important? Because you're training to be a champion, you're training and you're putting in so many hours in training. So you can't be eating 3 meals a day. You need to be eating much more than that. Okay. Next is to understand the components of food. So while you're eating, you can't just be eating what you want and expecting that it's going to give you the nutrition or the fuel to perform. You need to know what goes into what you're eating. So understanding the components of food is very important. Next, what is it that I'm going to do in the next 3 hours? Okay, so what is it that I'm going to do in the next 3 hours is going to determine what I'm going to be eating. Okay, so it shouldn't be that what you eat at breakfast should be same as what you eat at lunch, should be same as what you eat at dinner. What you eat at each meal needs to be decided by what you're going to do in the next 3 hours. This is telling you how you fuel for performance. Okay, so over here I'm accepting that each and every one of you is a champion or is a champion in the making. So here's what we have to do different from the rest of us. So rule 1 is to eat 5 times a day. Rule 2 is to understand what you're eating, and rule 3 is to plan what you're going to eat based on what you're going to do in the next 3 hours. Okay, rule 4, eating right for the negative calorie periods, meaning eating right when you're going to be doing the type of training that's going to bring about fat burning and muscle enhancement, and for the positive calorie period, which is a muscle enhancement. So you need to plan your eating based on whether you're going to be in the fat burning period for the next 3 hours or whether you're going to be in the muscle building period in the next 3 hours. I'll give you an example. What is a fat burning period? When you're training, right? When you're training and you are doing so much running around on court or on the field, you are burning a lot of your energy. Okay, so sorry about that. Yeah, so you're burning a lot of your energy. So that is a fat burning zone. But when you're resting, that is a muscle building zone. Okay, so that is very important for you to understand to fuel right. And the last thing is supplements. Why is supplements the last thing and not the first thing? Supplements is the last thing because it supplements what you're going to eat and it is not what you eat. Okay, so once you've got rule 1 to 4 in place is when we look at nutritional supplements to further enhance your performance. Okay, going forward, so what do we do pre-training? Pre-training, what is our focus? Our focus is to increase our stamina so we are able to train as much as our coaches are going to kill us on court, provide energy to the muscles to make sure that they're able to do the activity and not end up with a cramp or an injury, to prevent hunger. You don't want to be coming out of the court in between saying, I'm hungry, I can't perform or I can't train anymore. So your main focus pre-training is stamina, energy, and not to be hungry. So remember that if you don't take care of this, what your body does is you're anyways going to go train. So your body is going to be like, okay, you're going to train, I will burn all the muscles and I'll give you energy. So what will happen eventually? Eventually you'll come out of the training or wake up the next day feeling tired or ending up having an injury. Okay. So what is it that you need to avoid pre-training is anything which is high in fat. Why? Remember my second slide where I told you that during training digestion cannot happen. Okay, so fats are a little slow to digest, so you can't really digest fat and expect that to give you energy even though it's filled with energy. Okay, so you have to avoid high fat snacks right before training. What you can do is milkshakes, because milkshakes have milk plus fruit, okay, and they're not filled with fat. So I'm not talking about the milkshakes with ice creams, I'm talking about the milkshakes with milk. Okay, fruits, if you can't do milkshakes and you're somebody with a small stomach, fruits are great for you. Oats with nuts. If you're somebody who's not having a very small stomach but milkshake is too heavy, then something like an oats really works very well. Okay, especially if you're into endurance sports. And a sandwich. Say if you probably are going in at about a 6 o'clock training, so neither is it time, just after lunch, and nor is it that you can have dinner and go. So something like a sandwich really works. So remember that your pre-training meal shouldn't be just as you enter the court, but it needs to be about 45 minutes before your training. Okay, that's when food will digest and come in to give you the energy during training, because like we explained, no digestion happens when you're training. Okay. During training, like you'd all know, and I think I'm just going to probably say it again, is water. Water, and fluids is very important during training. Why? Again, because your body can't digest a sandwich during training. Okay. What happens when you get dehydrated? Okay, why am I speaking about dehydration? Is because more than 60% of the players and athletes that we meet when they come in for a nutrition plan do not drink water. And they're either coming in because they've got an injury or because they have cramping, or the coaches are like, no, the kid just doesn't have enough stamina. So dehydration brings down performance to the greatest extent. Okay. So just to give you a little more understanding of how dangerous dehydration can be, up to 4% loss in your body weight based on just out of sweat will reduce your muscle function. Okay. 5% will lead to heat exhaustion. So imagine if you're going back to training right now in the Hyderabad heat, you're going to have so much more heat exhaustion. Okay. About 7% loss will actually lead to hallucinations. I have had a few squash players who actually felt this double image and this kind of thing when they're in the court. Okay. And why more in squash that I've seen this is because squash is a closed game, right? So you don't have the direct oxygen supply. You're pretty much breathing into each other's carbon dioxide. Okay, so 7% loss in the form of sweating and your salt losses can lead to hallucinations, and about a 10% can even lead to like a complete collapse or a heat stroke. So do not allow yourself to get dehydrated. Dehydration is your first shot at not being able to perform. Okay, going forward, yes, so drink water every 15 minutes. Now when I say 15 minutes drink water, I'm not asking you to gulp it down. We're talking about sipping on water. Okay, so what else are we looking at during training? What's our focus? Our focus during training is to rehydrate, okay, and compensate for the water losses, to replenish the muscle glycogen. Okay, so how do we do that? I'll give you examples. And to fuel the brain to focus and perform. Okay, so how are we going to do all of this when we can't eat anything and can't digest anything? It's by making smart choices of what you're drinking. Okay, remember that you have to replace the muscle glucose, otherwise you will you will get into tiredness and injury. So you need to replace the muscle glucose in order to prevent any kind of tiredness or injury. What do you avoid? You definitely avoid heavy foods or foods that require too much digestion. So anything that you do more from the perspective of allowing your body to immediately absorb anything that you're eating, okay, or drinking. So the first is water, okay. Second is coconut water. Coconut water is what we call Mother Nature's natural sports drink, okay. Coconut water has the right amount of electrolytes that can come in, and that's where it helps in brain functioning, because what happens when your electrolytes go down, then there's not enough, your brain's not really active enough to focus and perform. So coconut water helps in restoring the sodium potassium balance. Lemon water with some added salts. Fruits, something like a small banana, if in case you have that time in your training to digest it, about 15 minutes at least. If not, dried fruits, dates, raisins. One quick trick I'll tell you: add about a tablespoon of raisins in your bottle of water, wash it, and then add it in your bottle of water that you're sipping on. So whenever those raisins come into your mouth, just chew it up. Okay, that's the easiest way to get raisins into your body. So keep hydrating throughout the session. Make sure you do not allow yourself to get dehydrated. At the same time, don't gulp water, because then you're going to feel heavy and want to puke out anything that you ate as well. Okay, I'm hoping we're all in sync until now. So going forward to the most important question that we always get asked by anybody who comes in and wants to take up a nutrition plan. Do I need a sports drink? Does my child need a sports drink? I don't want to give him Gatorade. I don't want to give him anything. Can he just survive on water? So here's my answer. For over 2 hours of play, okay, water alone cannot help, because only water will actually make you more dehydrated, because you're losing salts, but you're never giving it back. So over 2 hours of training, the body requires something more than just plain water. it's important to replace the body with about a 6 to 8% glucose solution. Why am I talking about a 6 to 8 technical, thing of glucose solution? Because it's in this percentage that your body can actually absorb the glucose immediately and use it for energy. Anything lesser, it makes no difference. Anything more actually will make you, initially will give you like a kick and then immediately slump down your game, because it starts putting you into like, okay, right now it goes into a mode of low energy. Okay, that's how the hormones work. So 6 to 8% is called an isotonic solution, which is when your body can actually take it in directly from the intestines and use it for energy. Okay. While you're so then the next question is, okay, I can use Glucon D. Okay, Glucon D is great, but that's not going to be something that entirely helps, especially if the player is sweating a lot, because then you need to also replace with sodium and potassium. Okay, so sodium and potassium should be in the ratio of 5:1 to again help in performance. Now, this seems like so difficult to handle and know. So this is where there are a few good approved sports drinks which can be used during training, during games. Mainly once, they meet this criteria of isotonic and 5:1 sodium to potassium ratio. So up to 2 liters of a sports drink is okay in a day. Now, why have I mentioned this? Because a lot of times people start enjoying their games and feeling very energetic when they start taking sports drinks. But that's not your only way to perform. You have to also, you start with water, you go to coconut water, then you go to a sports drink, but you can't overdo the sports drink. So the safe limit is up to 2 liters in a day, and that is at the maximum super intense, high endurance based training or game. Going forward, post training, what do we do? So what's a focus post training? I mean, before training, okay, I have to play, so I have to fuel myself. During, yes, I need to continue to play, so I have to fuel myself. Post training, why do I even need to take care of it? Post training, let me tell everybody here, is the most important but the most neglected thing when it comes to nutrition. Okay, post training, I see a few people are raising hands. If it's for questions, could you please write it down or put it in the chat box? And if it is regarding not being able to see the presentation, please put it in the chat box so my colleague will inform me and I will take care of it. Is everybody able to see it right now? All okay? Manisha, could you unmute and let me know if it's okay?
Yes, so Hasni, everything is okay.
Okay, great. Thank you. Okay. All right. So post training. So post training, why is it very important? Because this is where your body goes into a phase of, I need to get back everything that I lost during training. I need to do the wear and tear repair. Like I need to repair all the muscle wear and tear that happened during training. So if you're not giving your body the important guys to go and do the mechanics of, repairing the muscles, then you're going to be feeding more and more on a muscle that is tired and injured. Okay. Or rather is it not recovered? So refueling muscle and liver glucose is important. Okay, so what's your focus? Your focus is to basically give back whatever the body lost in addition to what we fed it, to replenish any of the salts, otherwise you're going to faint and fall, to repair the muscles. Okay, and also to help in muscle building. You remember when I told you about the 5 points in performance nutrition? Point number 4 was to eat according to fat burning and to eat according to muscle building. This is your muscle building phase. Your muscle building doesn't happen during training entirely. It actually happens after that, when you help, based on the intensity of training, is how much muscle building can continue to work and happen post training. Okay. So what you should do is a high carbohydrate and protein snack. Okay. So that it gets back all the glucose and gets back all the protein. Okay. Milk, so examples over here, milk is with some malt and fruits is a great way where you mix protein and carbohydrates. Eggs with snacks. Vegetable sandwich with milk, again carbohydrates, protein, carbohydrate, protein. More than anything, looking at a snack primarily. Okay, and this should be done within 30 minutes of finishing your training. Okay, now why am I saying 30 minutes? Because that's when your body is at a peak of wanting to repair. After that, it starts to then go by itself into the rest of the body muscles and start breaking it down. Okay, so if you don't give your body something within 30 minutes, it's actually going to lead to more muscle breakdown than actually in repairing and enhancing, and you seeing a difference of the efforts you put during training. Okay, so within 30 minutes. So here's to all the players who finished their training and are happily dancing away out of the academy without eating something. Okay, and we're probably busy catching up on what happened on Netflix, we're busy catching up on what happened in school, but are not actually fueling back the body, which is waiting and begging for food. Okay, so it's very important that you have something within 30 minutes. So for parents who are listening in, if your place of stay is far away and the child is not going to be back home in 30 minutes, it's very important that you plan something and pack it and send it with the child so that the child can have it. Okay, going forward, competition nutrition. So I explained to you what happens during training. I explained to you what is it that you plan your pre, during, post training. So now I'm going to go into competition nutrition. Okay, competition nutrition is, I have one question to ask everybody out here, because a lot of times people come in for a nutrition plan just a week before the competition, or at the best bet maybe about a month before competition. That's not how nutrition is going to actually come and do any magic to you. So my question is, can you compete directly without training? If your answer is no, then your answer to nutrition coming in and giving you that magic pill is also no. Okay, so I'm going to explain to you what training nutrition focuses on and what competition nutrition focuses on. So strategies for competition. What did we do during training? During training, we took care of hydration. We took care of snacking in the breaks. Okay, so during training, summarizing the whole thing, eat immediately after the session. Okay, so hydration, snacking in the breaks, eating immediately after a session, cold showers. So why am I speaking about cold showers? Because a lot of times parents come and say that the child is just not hungry after training to eat. Like I would expect that, especially after swimming, a kid would come in and say, I am hungry, feed me something. But my son, no, he just comes, he puts his bag on this side, that side, sits on the sofa, or that's all, watching TV. So what I would encourage all of you parents to do in that case is to encourage cold showers. So you can always start off with them doing like a warm shower, but end it with a nice cold shower. This helps to stimulate the appetite. Remember what I told you initially, when you're training, heart rate, everything is up. And when you're playing, the digestion and excretion is down. So what's happening for most of these people is this is still high post training. Okay, so their heart rate, their blood pressure is all still high post training, that the body still hasn't come to understanding that it needs to digest. So which is why their appetite is still not built in, and which is why they don't feel hungry. Okay, so a cold shower helps to calm the body down and bring back the body temperature so they feel like eating. Okay, so have your daily meals planned very well. So training summarized. Now competition. What do we do for competition? We drink lots of water, same as hydration. We eat smaller meals but more frequently. Okay, during competition, do not focus on eating big fat biryanis. Okay, that's not going to help you. Do not eat half an hour before a game. So do not plan to have your breakfast half an hour before your match. Do not plan to have your lunch half an hour before your evening workout or evening match, like, your finals is in the evening. Don't plan to have your lunch at about just half an hour before. And if there is a requirement for nutritional supplements, then you focus on nutritional supplements, which could be even something like a dried fruit. We call it a supplementation because it's filled with so many nutrients, energy bars, or maybe sports drinks and a protein. Okay. Very important to have your competition meals planned. Okay, as much as nutrition during training is important, and we still probably survive, we do survive with nutrition during training. During competition, your nutrition is very, very important. Okay, in fact, if we when we work with athletes, we actually do their competition nutrition. We tell parents to let us know at least about 10 days before, because we work on a competition chart specially for them for competition. Okay, because your competition nutrition has to be planned, else all the efforts that you put during training is going to go for a complete 360 degrees effect in competition. Okay, so competition meals need to be planned. So plan smart. What do? The main focus on competition is to eat meals that should prevent fatigue, which is basically getting tired, and to not make you feel that you have no strength and stamina during the event or the game or the match. So do not allow for experiments. A lot of times we have parents coming in and asking, can my kid do coffee before competition? I heard that it really boosts stamina. Can my child have chicken soup before? And they probably never had chicken soup. So a lot of times parents want to do something short and quick before the competition. Our answer to everybody is a big no. Okay, do not experiment during a competition or an event, because you never know how the body is going to respond to it. Okay, and what if the body doesn't take to it well? So even a child that was perfectly okay becomes weak, has diarrhea, or has had throwing up because of having tried something that they never did before. Okay, so experiment during practice season and do not experiment during competition. Goal of competition meals is to have enough sugar in the blood for energy. It makes sure that the player is not hungry, especially if there's football. It's solid 45 minutes. So it's very important that they plan before or during competition so that they can survive that 45 minutes before halftime. Okay, and not to have undigested food in the stomach, which will lead to them vomiting. So closing the competition nutrition on the final note that a single pre-competition time meal planning will not compensate for poor training meal. Okay, so if you saw, I've kind of married the training and the competition very, very closely in each of my slides. So it's very important that both training and competition are taken care together. Just one competition meal and is not going to give you success. You have to take care of your training meal to actually see success during competition. Okay, so a player should routinely follow basic nutrition guidelines to see proper results during competition. So what do we eat? So before I wrap up on the entire nutrition of training, nutrition, how to build in aspiring champions, what is it that I would say you can eat? So pre-training, fruit, milk, dried fruits, which is pre-training or pre-competition as well, okay, within that half an hour. Okay, so if you're really hungry in that half an hour, then these are your simple options. During, water, coconut water, banana, nuts, and post, milk, eggs, or milkshakes. Okay, so now I've pretty much covered what happens during training, how to plan your nutrition before, during, after training, how to hydrate, when you need a sports drink, when you don't need a sports drink, and what to do during competition, what you need to be planning and what you shouldn't be doing during competition. So I'm going to go into the next part of my presentation, which is on immune boosting foods, which we are primarily covering at this point with the entire pandemic pulling the entire world down. It's very important as players that while you're sitting at home during lockdown, you're boosting up your immunity. Because tomorrow, once the academy opens and once the government says, yes, you can go back, or say once even we flatten our curve or rather come down on our curve and we are going back to normalcy, you need to have a good immunity to make sure that you don't fall prey to the virus. You might, the rate at which the virus is going, yes, you might probably still catch it, but to be able to fight it, you need to build your army now. Okay, so what I'm going to give you next is going to be those guys that you need to start including starting today to build this army of yours to fight anything that comes your way when you go back to training. Protein-rich foods. Okay, protein-rich food doesn't mean you sit and only eat chicken and eggs. Yes, they are rich in protein, but including dals at lunch, including dals at dinner, having a cup of curd, having a glass of milk is also protein. Vitamin C. Vitamin C has never had enough importance as it is in the world today. Okay, so vitamin C is basically what helps your immune system kind of do that little wear and tear repair and come back to functioning. Okay, so what are my foods rich in vitamin C? The number one fruit of the season, mangoes. Mangoes are rich in vitamin C, so you can have mangoes. Okay, amla. the best source of vitamin C. A lot of time people relate vitamin C to lemons, but do you know amla is the highest source of vitamin C? So amla is better than any other vitamin C. Next, watermelon, which is in season right now. Okay, your capsicums are filled with vitamin C. Tomatoes, okay, so include variety. Now, just because vitamin C is important, having just mangoes through the day is probably not going to give you everything. You need to include vitamin C in different times of every meal. Okay, so like an amla pickle, honestly, can also be something if you like it, but you can't overdo it. Okay, everything in moderation. Vitamin D, very very important, because vitamin D in the last decade has gained so much importance in its role, from everything which is as small as, you know, how energetic you feel in the day, to as much as probably cancer prevention. But over here vitamin D is important because all of you guys, or most of you, are in your growing age. Okay, so vitamin D is very important for calcium absorption, and you don't want your body to start getting weaker because of lack of vitamin D and further become, you know, weak when, say, while you're boosting your immunity. So vitamin D is very important to boost your immunity and to make sure that you are not weak at this point in time. Zinc. Zinc is very very important. Now zinc is available in non-vegetarian foods mostly, okay, and it is also available in peanuts, cashews, pumpkin seeds. These are sources of zinc. Okay, so while non-vegetarians have their non-veg to give them the source of zinc, vegetarians have enough to have zinc through, you know, through your nuts, and seeds are your best source of zinc. Include a handful of these in a day and you know you're getting your dose of zinc. Omega 3. Omega 3, everybody keeps speaking about omega 3 all the time, but then they speak about it for heart health, right? They speak about it for heart health, they don't particularly speak about it for immunity. But here's something, omega 3 is very important to reduce the stress in the body and to allow the immune system to build up and get stronger. Okay? And the last, the biggest thing that we have in our country are the spices. Each and every spice has a way in which it boosts your immunity. The top three guys that I make sure I include every day is turmeric, pepper, and ginger. Okay, they have such high immune boosting properties that these are those small things that you add in your food that you don't know is actually building up your immunity. Okay, so include those dals with the turmeric in it. Have those soups with garlic added. Have that buttermilk with some ginger grated. These are small ways in which you include these spices into your daily routine to build up your immunity. Okay, so that was on immunity. Going forward, so now that I've explained to you in general that what is nutrition, what is performance nutrition, how to plan your training, how to plan your competition, and how to build your immunity, what's very important to know is no one size fits all. Okay, it is required that you have to customize your requirements to what your body is telling you. Okay, me having coconut water could be giving me all the energy in the world, but Manisha having a sports drink is what probably she needs. But if I take a sports drink, I might probably not like it too much, or it might not suit my stomach too much. So each person has their own way of responding to food. So it's very important that you, at some point when you get into a competitive level of nutrition, you must customize it. If you're still doing it recreationally, then you can do a basics of it. But if you're here serious for a sport, then you must be looking at doing something which is based on your body. Okay, so I'll speak to you further on it, on what are the ways in which you can customize it and tailor make it for you. First, each person's height is different, each person's weight is different, each person's muscle and fat percentage is different. So you need to determine what works for you based on your body measurements and your hours of play. This then is how we match it with how much. This helps us decide on how much calories you would need, how we need to make sure you're getting the right nutrients at the right time, how we plan your meal timings. Remember, performance nutrition, planning it in advance, how we plan it depends purely on all of these factors. Okay, and then based on your particular or specific symptoms. Like some people could be having cramping, some people could have the stomach pain. So based on that, then we further customize it. So that's how you add both together to customize your nutrition plan. Furthermore, going to the next level of customization is to do a blood test. At our clinic, we definitely make sure that anybody over 10 years of age, we do not allow a degree of doubt, and we do encourage to get blood tests done. What are the blood tests that we do? We check for iron, because iron is what carries oxygen across the body. Okay, so iron and ferritin levels, not your hemoglobin, because hemoglobin is the last indicator to tell you that you're actually anemic. Okay, you need to go back. As if you are looking to be a champion, you can't be doing what general people do. You need to go down and look in deeper. Vitamins, your vitamin B and D, calcium and magnesium, very important for muscle function. Liver function test, primarily to make sure that you're not stressing your body with whatever you're eating. Kidney function test, to make sure that you're not overdoing your protein, to make sure that you're hydrating well. And this basically helps us understand what is your current status before we add in anything or remove anything. Okay, and there's something known as an EGFR, which is a part of your kidney function test, which tells us how much your kidney is able to filter out and take out the waste. Thyroid function, especially for growing kids, both boys and girls. Okay, and urine analysis. Urine analysis not only tells me if you're dehydrated, but it also tells me whether you're again excreting too much protein or having any infections. So your blood test is yours, and that is to determine what you put into your body. Now there are people who come with extremely high ferritin levels. Now those people, there's no point in overdoing your iron, right? So it's very important that you don't do aam janta thing, you do what's specific to you. Going to the third, so the first level was to understand your hours of training, to understand your symptoms. The second level was to get your blood test done. The third level, which is what we call the level where you're fueling yourself to go and compete in the Olympics one day, is to know your genes. Okay, to know what you're made of makes all the difference in understanding what you should feed and what you should not feed. Okay, so everybody is saying, like, there are some people who are like, oh, coffee gave me that kick before my swim, and then I had all the energy and I cut my seconds by so many seconds. And then there are people saying, with coffee I just couldn't move, my stomach was feeling so heavy. So is coffee good or bad for you? Your genes can actually tell you that. Gluten, everybody around is talking about gluten. All your top players from Djokovic to Messi, they're all going gluten free. Why? How does it help? But is it going to help you? You need to figure that out yourself based on your genes. If your genes have no issues with gluten, then why do you stop it? If your genes can't take gluten and they look at it as poison, then you should be not feeding it, definitely. Okay, then you're giving your body an additional thing to fight on a daily basis. So while there is gene, which tells based on nutrition what you need and what you don't, what vitamins are important, what are not, how much carbohydrate and protein you require, how much you don't. There is also genes that tells you how good your power is, how good your endurance is, whether you're prone to injuries or whether you're going to recover faster. Yes, there are genes that will actually tell you if it is okay to do that little cheating in your cool down stretch, or it is going to come back and bite you real hard. Okay, so it's very, very important that you understand your genes. Okay, so there are genes that tell me if I'm a power player. So if I'm a power player, does that mean that I can't do endurance events? Not really. If I'm a power player and a tennis player, I know that getting those shots comes naturally to me. So then what I do is during training, I work on my endurance. I work on my endurance so that I can build on it. Remember that genes are what you're made up of, but genes can also slightly be modified based on lifestyle and practice. Okay, they will not change, but they will learn to adapt. Okay, so that's the importance of genetic test. Okay, so these are your levels of customizing for each and every player. So I'll give you an example of how the nutrition panel looks. So the nutrition panel primarily tells you whether you're gluten sensitive, whether you're lactose intolerant, whether, okay, the others are in general, whether, which are the vitamins you require, which are the vitamins you don't require, and what's the percentage of carbohydrate, protein, and fat that your body is going to perform its best with. Your fitness panel will tell you whether you're an endurance player, whether you have a greater aerobic capacity, how is your lung capacity, how is your power, how is your likelihood of injury, likelihood of fatigue, and how good you recover. Okay, I'm going to be closing the session and taking it forward with a Q&A with top 5 foods that I consider my favorite 5 that I give anybody who come in for a nutrition plan. First, coconut water. Especially when they're doing more than 2 hours of training, plain water is not going to be enough. So coconut water is packed with electrolytes and vitamins. It helps to replace all the sweat, all that you lose in sweat. And it's not rich in fat that's going to pull you down during your training, and rich in potassium. Milk and eggs for those who are non-vegetarians and vegetarians, not the vegans. Milk and eggs are very important because egg is a complete protein. And if you're an vegetarian, I'd love to give you egg to get your protein back. Okay. And milk depends. We don't always say low-fat milk. Depending on each person and their composition, we decide. So about 200 ml has 10 grams of protein and the calcium, which helps in recovery. Pumpkin seeds, my favorite. Okay, they're filled with iron, they have magnesium, they have zinc. I love these seeds. Okay, you just probably do a teaspoon. You don't overdo the seeds. Any seeds you overdo and it's going to give you an upset stomach. You pretty much do even a teaspoon a day, and it's going to actually give you so many of these micronutrients that you'd be missing out. Okay, so it's great for boosting energy, it's great for recovery, and it's rich in the good fats. So it's what I love to give my players. Watermelon. Okay, why watermelon? Watermelon contains citrulline. Where is the citrulline in watermelon? Citrulline in watermelon is actually in the white portion of the watermelon. Okay, so when you cut your watermelon today, don't just cut the red portion, but cut half of the white portion. It's great for recovery. Okay. Water content keeps the athletes hydrated, especially those guys who don't like drinking plain water. And the lycopene, which is where the watermelon gets its red color, is great for recovery. Okay, it's an antioxidant which is brilliant for recovery. And my last and most favorite again is beetroot juice, especially for endurance players. Beetroot juice is your way to boost your endurance and stamina because it basically increases the blood vessel. So if your blood vessels are small in diameter, having beetroot juice allows it to dilate a little more, so more blood goes in, more oxygen to your muscles. Okay, yes. So I'm going to end the presentation saying that eating the right foods at the right time can definitely improve your power, your endurance, and your fitness. Yep. So I'm leaving the session open for questions. I will first look into the chat box and get them. So I have a few. I have about 3-4 questions. So I'll get started answering them. 1 minute. I'll stop sharing. Great.
I request all the participants, if you have any questions, please kindly put that in the question answer box so that you will get it.
Yes. Okay. So I have a question where they say muscle repair is fine as you're asking for post-training eating, but most of my student parents are complaining that they don't feel hungry and they are not ready to eat. So my question is, if one is not feeling hungry, what do we do? So I think I answered this as a part of my session. So they will not tend to feel hungry, especially if their heart rate is still extremely high. So you want to check with these players if they're doing their cool down stretches properly, if they're cooling down after a session properly. So if they cool down after a session properly, then the heart rate comes down. When the heart rate comes down, then the blood starts going to the stomach and asking for food. Okay. If not, then as soon as they get home, have a shower, end your shower with a nice cold shower. They will come back feeling hungry. Okay, so that's my thing on that. Next, are there any specific sports drink recommended? There are plenty in the market. What I would say is, if you're looking for kids, especially for those below 18, please look at sports drink that don't have artificial sweeteners. Okay, you don't want them to be getting that at this point. The second thing would be look to see that they're isotonic, okay, and they have some amount of sodium to potassium. So a few in the market, Gatorade is actually okay to have, and even Fast Charge is okay to have. There is also Powerade, which is okay to have. So these are a few which are available in the market. So a vegetarian option for zinc is poha. No, vegetarian option for zinc would be peanuts and cashews much more than poha. Poha is good for iron, especially if you're making it in the iron kadai as well. Rice flakes are great. Okay. But if you're going to add peanuts to your poha, then yes, you can make it rich in zinc. And how to assess the calorie loss and calorie intake. Now that's something that requires a lot of calculation at the back end. So calorie loss, we go with an average of how many hours an athlete trains and the intensity of training to then determine the activity factor. And based on the activity factor, we calculate the calories that we must be fueling in for them so that they don't get tired. Now, at the same time, if the same athlete also has to probably lose weight, then we have to tweak the calories accordingly. And if they have to gain weight, then again we have to tweak the calories accordingly. And of course, if they're in the growing stage, then furthermore the calories have to be tweaked. So the calorie calculation is very, very specific to each individual, and it's a little difficult to generally say, but if you're just looking for a general thing, then you need to figure out how many hours of training you're doing, and roughly for that sport, what's your average calorie burn, and then calculate it with your basal metabolism and add it to it. Yes, these were the 4 that I got from Manisha. So I'm just going to go forward to the chat box. All right. 1 minute. Okay, the chat box doesn't come out. Okay, sorry. Okay, sorry. Okay. Share the PDF by email. Okay, sure. I will look at it. I'll just give us a day or 2 and I will have it shared. You can send your email ID to us if you've not yet already shared it, and we'll send that across to you. What about oranges? Oranges, I'm assuming you're asking with regards to vitamin C. Yes, oranges are great source of vitamin C. Right now, oranges are probably not the best in season, so which is why I probably didn't give you an example. But oranges are a good source of vitamin C. But still, amla and guava and papaya have more vitamin C than oranges and lemons do. Okay, a vegetarian option for zinc is poha. Going forward, I hope the video came back, Ms. Rachita. Are there any specific sports drink recommended? Okay, I'm sorry. I hope my voice was okay later on. What should I eat if I played at night and I have a match the next morning? So you definitely have to come back and eat a decent dinner. Okay, your dinner has to be, you can't just come back and eat, drink a soup and go to bed. You have to come back and eat a proper decent dinner. Khichdi is a great option to have if you're a vegetarian. Having chicken and rice is a great option. Having chicken and roti is a great option. So you need to come back but eat a solid dinner to be able to wake up next morning and be able to train again. Okay. Meeting video. Yes, we are recording. We'll definitely provide it to you as well. Please give your email ID so we can have it sent across. To improve immunity for vegetarian, so all the foods that I told you, which is from protein to zinc to omega-3, all of these, like I said, including dals as a part of all your meals, and not just eating rice and 1 curry or roti and 1 sabzi, including a cup of curd, including chilas, including if pesarats, which is similar to chila. All of these are ways in which you get protein. Similarly, you get zinc from the nutrient from peanuts and cashews that I told you. You get omega-3 from flax seeds and walnuts. So each of those nutrients that I told you have very good vegetarian options, which when included, but consistently. So even it doesn't mean non-vegetarians have great immunity. Even with non-vegetarians, you have to eat properly through the day to actually have the body make use of the nutrition and the food you're putting in. Okay. Can you please give me a summary of before and while training? Okay, so I'm going to quickly summarize before. So before training, you need to focus on not eating something very heavy. So high fat snacks are not a great idea. So before training, something like a fruit is really simple. And you said, and while training, water. If you're doing over 2 hours, then coconut water and a sports drink. Okay. Going forward, can protein supplements be recommended for children below 18 years? If children below 18 years, we always get the blood test checked. We check your blood test to know that you're doing absolutely okay. And if children below 18 years are doing the level of intensity of training where they have very little gap between their training and meals and training and the next session, then a protein supplement can be looked into. However, it needs to be based on their particular body weight and the hours of training so that it doesn't go in as a load to kidneys, but it actually goes in to just fuel the body. Okay. Rather fuel the muscle recovery. Thank you very much for your kind words, Mr. Vinod. I'm glad the session was helpful. Will apple help to boost energy? Yes, apple can help you boost energy. Any fruit can help you boost energy. Can we have buttermilk during a mash? Like I said, your body is not going to be able to digest anything, okay? And mostly milk products require some amount of digestion. So buttermilk might not be your best option during training because your body might just want to puke it out, okay? You can try it. Some people take to it, but not too many, not too many, not too many. Especially if you're doing high intensity, then your body is not going to take it. Thank you very much again for the appreciation on the session. Yes, I will look at how we can have the presentation sent across to you. We'll just require your email ID. How can we identify what exactly the individual athletes require? If you remember the slide that I gave you on each person's height, weight, body fat, and their hours of play, that helps us determine what they require to have. Any foods that you would suggest for muscle growth? So muscle growth is dependent on the training that you do and the food that you eat after that. So again, making sure that you eat something within 30 minutes, which is a combination of protein and carbohydrate. The simplest thing that comes to my head is like a milkshake, is something that can help. But if you're looking at high level muscle improvement, then you might need to tweak it a little more with more quicker absorbing protein foods. I'm not sure on your age. I'm not sure on, so I'm not able to give you a specific answer here. Thank you very much again for the appreciation. Can you elaborate on nutrition gene testing? So nutrition gene testing primarily tests to identify what are the vitamins and the minerals which you require more or require in foods is enough or which you require supplementation. It also helps to determine whether you have a gluten intolerance or a lactose intolerance so that you know what you're putting in. It helps you identify your acceptability of caffeine and not. It also helps you identify if proteins, carbs and fats, whether they are worth the hype, each of them that they get in different types of the year, and how you need to plan it out. There are several labs that do it. We have a collaboration with a lab called Xcode where we do it together and as a part of the nutrition program itself. What is the average meal we should have 5 times a day? So your 5 times a day includes your breakfast, your mid-morning, your snack, your lunch, your evening, your dinner. Okay, so these are your 5 meals. How you have it depends on each person's appetite. Some people have a greater appetite for breakfast, lunch and dinner, but they have no appetite for snacks. Then we kind of reduce their breakfast, lunch and dinner to eat something in between. Some people have good appetite through the day, so then you eat small through the day. Okay, so we've received few email IDs. Sweet potato, can we give you energy? Yes, sweet potato can give you energy, but don't go for it during competition because like I said, your body will not digest it. So sweet potato before competition or after competition is good to have. And yeah, you just need to determine how much quantity you can take that 45 minutes before, but sweet potato is a good option to include. Okay, so we got your email IDs. For age of 8 to 12 years, how many calories per day? See, 8 to 12 years, if you ask me, with the RDA, they generally say about anywhere between a 2010 to a 2550 calories, okay? But that is not enough. If they're training, then we have to include the additional training calories as well, okay? Some athletes totally vegetarian. It's absolutely okay to be vegetarian. It's okay to be even vegan. It's okay. It's on each person's choice of what they want to do. So if you're vegetarian, if you're non-vegetarian, even if you are a vegan, what is again very important is to plan your meals, to eat something before, during and after, and what you have at night, so you need to remember those 5 rules of performance nutrition. What you're going to do 3 hours from now determines what you eat. It does not matter whether you're vegetarian, non-vegetarian, or a vegan. You can get your nutrition for all three of you through foods, especially in a country like India, where we do so much more vegetarian through the week, and we have our reasons. Like, sometimes it is true that you don't eat non-veg on a Tuesday, you don't eat non-veg on a Saturday. That's how probably the body used to balance the intake out. But to eat right and to eat planned is very important. So it doesn't matter whether you're vegetarian, non-vegetarian, or vegan. You just need to plan your meals, and it's definitely possible to be at your top and best form of performance, whichever your mode or your preference of food is. Can you feedback? I didn't understand that, sorry. Okay, so the email IDs we've received. Can the nutrition gene profile be done without prescription? Yes, it can be done without prescription. So your nutrition gene profile is actually a saliva sample. And through this, earlier we used to do a cheek swab inside. Now it's a saliva sample. So you can reach out to us. We can help you figuring out how we can get the nutrition gene test. Yes, you have two questions, Anshuman. One, which is, can you please recommend some ways by means of nutrition which can recover from muscle injuries? For muscle injuries, it's important to focus on vitamin C and important to focus on zinc. So the foods that I told you for vitamin C and zinc are very important for muscle injury, and also to make sure that you're eating if you're a vegetarian, your dals through the day, or if you're a non-vegetarian, maybe a couple of eggs in the day. This will help you with preventing, rather recovering from injury. Pre-competition diet should be sensitive to the weather in and around the event. Yes, pre-competition has to be planned, especially if you're going to a cold temperature. What you eat needs to warm up your body from within. Okay, and if you're going to a hot climate, then you need to have something which is going to replace back your salts. So definitely your competition meals have to be planned, and which is why we always tell parents to tell us at least 10 days in advance, so we can plan it and give it to you at least 2 to 3 days before you leave for your competition, so you know what to have over there. Now sometimes there are players who are going to remote places. Like I remember last year when they had their competition, the swimming nationals in Rajkot, they were not able to get certain things. So we always look at the location and we plan and tell you the most basic simple food. As a player, you might be very excited that you're going to Punjab for a competition. You want to eat that paneer, you want to belt that butter chicken, but all of that you can do after your competition is over, not to experiment during your competition. Okay. We have your email IDs. Okay. Thank you very much. How to recover by means of nutrition from training session in general, where the purpose of session was developing strength. So what's important, Anshuman, is that you need to take care of your nutrition within the 30 minutes time. We always say 15 to 20 minutes. So you need to start making sure that you start to fuel your nutrition in that 15 to 20 minutes, which is a combination of a protein and carb, which is like I said, an egg and milk, a fruit and milk, milkshake. All of these are simple things that you can actually do, but you need to start your recovery within that 20 minutes. That is when your body is willing to take something in and repair. Else, if your session was especially a muscle building session, you will actually feel that you've broken down more muscle, because your body will go and break down the muscle glycogen and start repairing its own muscles. So you will see no difference of the session. Average meal we should eat 5 times a day. I think I answered that just a while back. Replacement for milk for those who don't take it. Definitely today you have, today in the market you have a lot of replacements like almond milk and oats milk and all of that. But if not, if you don't take milk and you take other vegetarian sources of protein, or you take eggs, then you can replace it with either of the two. Thank you very much. Specific foods that enables growth for children under 10 years. Growth for children under 10 years, I would say make sure they eat properly. They eat properly 3 meals a day at least. Traditionally, whatever you eat, which could be a roti, dal, chawal, anything. For looking for growth in particular, again, the most basic thing that I would say is make sure that you're giving them a proper snack in the evening. That snack in the evening is really important. The snack can be, it can be a vegetable based, it can be a chila, it can be a vegetable based dosa, it can be a sundal, it can be anything. But you need to make sure you give them something in the evening which is solid, so that they get enough nutrients through it for the growth. If that was exactly what you were asking, I hope I answered that. And children under 10 years of age, if they're in sports, then we definitely tell people to come in at about 7 to 8 years. So we can tweak and make sure that when they're reaching their growth spurt, the body is able to maximize the nutrition and that phase of spurt, okay, to actually give the nutrition and to give the growth and to not compromise on growth. What happens is a lot of time players come at 15, 16 years of age and they're like, can we grow taller? Unfortunately, if you've gone off your growth spurt, there's not much that nutrition can do to grow taller. But that's why we say come at 8, because then when you're reaching that growth spurt, which we identify based on how you're, when we keep checking your height and weight every month, we get to know when you're in your spurt. So that time we push in more nutrition, so your growth is maximized, okay? But if you don't take care of your nutrition during this growth spurt, let me tell you, your body uses all that extra ability to push itself in giving you peak performance, okay? But somewhere the growth gets compromised. And if you observe a lot of our players, India has such a rich and populated crowd when it comes to competitions at state and national level under 18. After 18, there aren't many. Also because a lot of people start feeling they can't perform like that anymore. Okay, or they become the prey to injuries, mainly because they didn't take care of the nutrition during their growth phase. And so the growth phase they performed when they were at the peak, they beat records, but after growth phase they've completely gone down because they pretty much used all the nutrition of growth or all the body's capacity of growth for performance. Okay, so growth nutrition important to start at about 8 years of age at the most, and for growth very important that they eat properly, and especially a proper solid snack in the evening is the easiest way. You're at least giving them that extra little. Okay, I think I answered these. 1 second. How to monitor intake of vitamin D? The only way currently available is a blood test. So a blood test is the only way. What is a good meal to eat before training in the early morning as a small snack? A fruit. A fruit is the easiest thing to have. Okay, all right. Thank you. Okay, I think I've answered. Okay, is there any special need of vitamins and minerals for adolescent? Yes, especially if it's a girl, you need to check for her iron and calcium levels. And for boys, again, calcium is very important, and magnesium also we do tend to check sometimes. So the main nutrients, like I showed you in the blood test slide, iron, vitamin B and D, calcium, magnesium, these are important nutrients that you're looking for to check. Okay, thank you very much. How many hours before should an athlete eat before attending a competition? Depends on the time of your competition. Just don't eat anything heavy half an hour before. Okay. Yes. Sir, you can reach out to us at, let me type it down. You can reach out to us at suhasini@quanutrition.com or manisha@quanutrition.com. Just update saying that you attended the session today, and we'll get back to you. All right. Okay. Yes. Okay. What else? I think the last 2 questions are there. Electrol water is good. See, remember, electrol was made to treat a person who was having diarrhea, not lose more salts. Okay, so electrol is okay, but not something you can depend on because you're not suffering from diarrhea. You're suffering from sweat loss. So it's not the best option to do. Okay. At the age of 14, what will help you grow? So we love tomatoes. Tomatoes are great if you're in your growth phase for you to grow. They really help to boost up your growth hormone. So having tomatoes in the morning, when your growth hormones in the maximum potential, helps in growing. Right age to get into any sports. I'm not the expert to tell you the right age to get into any sports. I am a nutrition expert. I just know that if you're in a sports, that by 8 or 9 you need to have your nutrition planned. That's all I could tell you. I think the youngest kid I've had on a sport has been 6 years of age. I had a 6-year-old swimmer who came in for a nutrition plan. Some ways to calculate our calories. There isn't an online thing there. I mean, if you go online, there are these few formulas that calculate it. But as an athlete, don't depend so much on calories. Okay. Yes, calories need to be your baseline to know you're not overeating or undereating. But what you eat before, during, after is much more important. Okay. Yep. Is lemon water help provide energy? Yes, lemon water you can do during recovery. When you're doing recovery, yes, you can have, but after the first half an hour, after fueling your post-training meal, you can do lemon water. Lemon water can be had, like if you want to just sip on it during the day, you can have it. Yes. So sweat loss, best option, ma'am, coconut water. Coconut water is great, or lemon water with a pinch of salt is also good. Yes. Oh, there were a lot of Q&A, sorry. I think I answered these questions. One second. Why isn't a hypertonic drink recommended? Okay, if you're open for a little science session over here, I'll tell you why a hypertonic drink is not recommended. A hypertonic drink basically increases your insulin levels. Basically, it's like when too much sugar gets into the blood, it's like all the prisoners from the jail were let out. So what happens? All your police come in and try to put them back into the cells. So similar way, when too much carbohydrate is released into the blood sugar, which is in a hypertonic solution, then the insulin comes in to put it back into the cells. So what happens? Eventually, all of that carbohydrate, which was temporarily there in your blood, has gone into your cells. So it's not going to come and give you energy, and your body can't sit and break that down right now. So it's not going to give you energy. So it gives you an initial kick, but then actually makes you tired. This is the reason, if I have to relate it in a more simplistic way, this is the reason why after you eat a very heavy meal, you feel sleepy. Okay. Which fruit is best option after match? Any fruit is okay. Any fruit. I mean, apple, banana, mango, pomegranate, watermelon, anything. Yes. Fasten up a good sports drink. Well, I would only say I don't have anything against any brands. You just need to look at the nutritional content of it. As far as I know, Fasten Up has artificial sweeteners in them, and Fasten Up was made more for marathoners. So you might just want to check which sport you are in, what you're doing, and then take a call on